We'll talk about the look.
Okay, yes.
Because this is really, really important.
It's
the
most
big ballyhoo
thing. It's the most important part of it.
Yes, the big ballyhoo thing. This is shot in 48 frames per second, twice the usual frame rate. And it looks really flat and too bright and too fake and too jumpy, and it's distracting as hell. And I know that he's saying this is the future, but because it looks like shit, it looks like some 1970s like BBC production.
It looks more than that to me. It looks like
exactly.
Totally.
It looks like an educational film at a museum. Now you go and you sit and you watch that 20 minutes.
Here's what I did. You get to a point in the film where you got used to it and you stopped paying attention to it?
Not for a second.
Never.
Okay, see, because about halfway through the movie, I stopped doing this and like to mess with the 3D and see if it looked better. Like I got to the end of the movie and it was like, okay, I stopped noticing it. But the beginning of the movie for me, yes, it was really distractive. The movement's not sped up, but it looks like it, right? And so at some point I thought, all right, at what point do we get the Benny Hill thing? Right? Like,
it really, I mean, it's terrible. I mean, it is Mexican.
I didn't see this, which is why I've been silent, but I will say that I think that we are among the last generations to whom that's going to look weird. Like, I've gone into the Sony store where they show you the demo with a 3D high-def television, and yeah, to me, everything looks overlit and too weirdly real and not substantive, but I think that subsequent generations are going to grow up looking at stuff like this, and that is what it's all going to look like.
Some of this stuff,
I think it's going to be a generational thing, a divide as far as how we perceive media that way.
I felt like some of this stuff, by the end, about halfway through the film, I realized I had gotten used to it. And so, between the frame rate and the CGI improvements, like Gollum has never looked more present.
The Gollum section is rad. I will agree with you on that.
I bought for the first time in a way that I hadn't in Lord of the Rings that Gollum was a real person, like that creature existed
and was truly threatening.
And was truly threatening
in a way that no other creature in this film is.
Or in any film.
Yeah,
right?
That was a great scene.
And I thought that some of the battle scenes by the end got really good. For a 3D film in 48 frames, the 3D is brighter. I think we can all agree that it's not as darkened as a lot of 3D is. It is brighter. It is that. But I think that some of the the chase scene with Radagast, like that looked like shit. I thought, God, did you guys do this on a video toaster?
It looks terrible. Some people who have experienced this on their televisions are going to know exactly what this looks like, and it's something like on Samsung TVs. It's like called Motion Plus. You have to turn it off. It makes everything look like you were live watching them rehearse, and it is terrible, and I don't agree with you. I agree that there is going to be a change generationally where people see something else, but this will.
I'm not defending it in any way.
No,
it
you're
looks
not.
weird to me
what I'm saying is that this is not close.
Well, I think
to
part of
here
it
yet.
too.
Like they gotta fix it.
I think part of the problem is that there were times, even early on in the film, that it was like, wow, it's like I'm in a room with these people, which I think is what they're going for. At some point,
why do you want to be in a room with these people?
Well, but it's like watching a play. Like at some point, there was a presence. I felt like there was a presence to what I was seeing that was really impressive. And then the camera would pan, and it took me completely out. Because when I'm looking at you, or looking at Christy, or looking at Alonso, like your eye tracks, and you don't do these smooth pans. And when the camera enforces that smooth pan, it's like, oh, it's really off-putting. And I think that, yes, 5 or 6 years from now, we may end up with successful 48 or 60 frame rate, as James Cameron is talking about, and that may work. But I think we're not there yet. I would have liked to have seen Peter Jackson do something as like the sacrificial lamb that's not the Hobbit.
Yeah,
I don't.
Right?
Yeah, a theme park attraction.
Clash of the Titans.
Like reshoot Black Sheep.
Why? I don't know. I don't know why we want a major motion picture to look more like a Broadway play. It's a goal that I don't understand. It's terrible, and it made me give 2 ratings.